Hey everyone, what's going on? It is Zach, and today we are going to talk about the Pittsburgh Regionals, the results, and what we noticed, and also my experience because I was actually there. And so, if you guys enjoy this, don't forget to like and subscribe. But it was won by Chuppa Cross, and it seems like Victory Road doesn't have the teams up yet. So, we're going to go to Poke Data, and Chuppa won with this team right here, Basque Legion with Focus Sash, which I feel like is a little bit of the change of what we usually see with it in the rain mode. So I feel like we're definitely going to see this a little bit more. So I would expect to see this because it was pretty good, especially with the liquidation. So it didn't have to take Wave Crash Chip and break that Focus Sash. And if you brought the rain as well, like it was able to still do very well. Mouse hold with the Rocky Helmet, with the Super Fang Feint, Follow Me and Protect. The Feint's really good for dealing with Pokemon that want to stall out, like Tailwind or Dodge a Move or something like that. So that is a really cool tech to have. I did see, I think it was Lorseys that was actually, it was a similar team, but I believe it was Terra Fairy Mouse hold. No, it was Mezzies. Mezzies was the Terra Fairy. He actually beat Chup across day one on stream with a similar team, just a couple of changes here and there. With Terra fighting Terra Blast for the Basque Legion. I'm assuming that does pretty well into the Argoludon. But surprising enough, if the Focus Sash Basque Legion wasn't surprising, we have three Sinistras in top four. So I think one of them being heat proof, the finalist Sinistra being heat proof to deal with those fire moves better, and the Volcarona for Struggle Bug, Rage Powder, Flamethrower, Tailwind support. You got the King Gambit, Terra Ghost, the Archaludon with the Sturdy, Primarina choice specs, and then Hariyama. So this was a Trick Room team, but with the Volcarona and the Archaludon, you necessarily didn't have to run it, but setup Sinistra is actually pretty cool to see. Hariyama also getting a finals. That is nice to see as well. Daniel Yu's team is more of a standard Trick Room Rain team. Would you call this a Tail Room team? I think so, because it has Tailwind and Trick Room. You don't really need the Tailwind, but either way. Dylan Matthew, similar team as well. I believe these guys were friends, or at least two of the three. I didn't get to watch too much of the stream yet. We got Justin Tang in fifth with the Alolan Ninetales. The Alolan Ninetales did really good against me this weekend. It was kind of a bummer. You got Lower C here. Anything else unique? I want to try this variant here. The Dragonite King Gambit Volcarona. The Terra Fairy as well. The Terra Fairy helps deal with Scale Shot Mons. In 13th, you have this Hydreigon Ursaluna team. I actually have a lot of experience into this team because my buddy ran it as well. He 5-3'd. He missed his winning in. But Volcarona, really big. Alolan Ninetales, really big. Sinistra getting a bit of a call out, you know? James Evans with the rain mode with Whimsicott Golden Go as well. Rajan Ball with Kanto Ninetales. I did not see that until just now. Wait, what? Chlorophyll Whimsicott. Chlorophyll Whimsicott? Okay. I guess, I mean, if you're fast enough with Whimsicott, you basically have your Prankster, but This is a unique team. Their Mousehold, Terra Ghost would follow me, Taunt, Super Fang, Protect, the multi-scale Dragonite, Ben Gristler with a Dusclops. So either Sand Mode and Trick Room, or you got Psychic Terrain and Trick Room, a combination of the two, good 2-2-2 combo. Alberto Alara with Grimmsnarl and Double Dragon with Corviknight as well. Corviknights gave me a problem, but thankfully I didn't face any. We got our first Dozo Tatsugiri in 24th with a setup Archaludon with Mousehold. And then Sneasler and Didi. This Sneasler and Didi combination like gave me problems as well. It was very tricky to go over it, but we're seeing a lot of common patterns. I want to try to get Tyranitar to work. I couldn't find a Tyranitar that worked well for me. But yeah, let me know. I haven't sat down and watched all the stream matches yet. I came home and just wanted to, spend time with the family. But I'm all the way down here. Keep going. We're going to keep going. Here I am in 293rd place. I went 4-4. I had a decent list of opponents with my lowest being 3-5. And let's talk about the team. That was me setting up this little page here. Okay, so first off, we got Dragapult. I did like the Dragapult. I bounced around between going Adamant and Jolly, and we settled on going the Adamant for the extra damage. And I think it really worked out because there were some certain situations where like Terra Blast, Terra Ghost kind of just like blew certain things out of the water and just put me in a really good situation, like Volcarona, for example, where if I wanted to get the knockout without Terra, I would have to click Phantom Force, and then that gives it a turn to set up and attack. There was never really a situation where, besides round 1, where I had to deal with like speed ties. Magmar was pretty good. It served me very well with the Overheat, Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, and Follow Me. I didn't go for Protect because I wanted the Will-O-Wisp, and I also wanted the Taunt because it was my way of shutting down Trick Room. Rillaboom is just a very standard Rillaboom, Grassy Glide, Woodhammer, high horsepower. We got King Gambit with the safety goggles and the Terra Flying. I probably could have gotten away with the Terra Dark, but I was so used to the Terra Flying at that point that I knew how to play the matchup against certain mons due to the Terra Flying, help dealing with Sneasler and ground type moves from things like Garchomp and Ursaluna's. We have the Grassy Seed. These two were my biggest changes, being like the week before Pittsburgh, with Sneasler going to Grassy Seed, Acrobatics, 3 moves, basically 2 days before. I think I made the change Thursday and settled on it, and I think this is what hurt me the most. Prior to this, I was Focus Sash with Fake Out, and it's not the Fake Out that I was missing, but it was more of the knowledge of acrobatic counts, especially in and out of Terra, because it's a big difference with the Terra. So there were a lot of situations where I clicked Acrobatics thinking that it would do more damage because of the Grassy Seed being procced, Unburden being procced, but I was probably better off clicking Dire Claw and going for RNG mechanics. And I think that was just an experience on my part. I should have done a little bit more practice with it, ran a little bit more calcs. That kind of hurt me. Milotic was actually pretty good. So Milotic's change was made about a week out from Pittsburgh, maybe like a week and a half. And Primarina just wasn't cutting it. The Primarina set that I had wasn't living the things I wanted to live. There was a lot of threats into it. Uh, and with that being the situation, like I saw that Milotic was bulkier, and I just took the spread from Primarina and moved it over to Milotic. Losing the fairy typing made the matchup into Sneasler a whole lot better, and I was able to live things more with Milotic because of that extra bulk. And I really wasn't missing the spread damage. I got speed control through Icy Wind, and then Scald gave me another chance to burn. So there were some matchups where if I wanted to get the burn, I didn't absolutely have to bring Magmar. I could fish for it. And then I also still got that Haze, and then solid recovery between Rillaboom's grassy terrain and leftovers. Not to mention, having a competitive and a defiant user actually discouraged a lot of my opponents bringing Ensign, which means Dragapult is a little bit more of a threat, and that's less intimidate pivoting for Sneasler when the Unburden is procced. Because once the Unburden is procced, you don't want to switch out because you'll lose that speed boost. And so having an instant come in on Sneasler, sure, you can hit it with close combat and still hit it pretty hard, and you still have the Dire Claw on RNG. But having these two mons really discourage Ensign, which were great for my Dragapult and my Sneasler. But I think Milotic was a good change for me and for what I wanted from the team and what I wanted Primarina to do. Milotic, I feel like, did that a little bit better. I probably could have, tried a little bit more aggressive set, but I wanted that speed control with Icy Wind instead of like something like Ice Beam. And so let's talk about the matchups. I got my little notes. Bought this notebook, but I'm left-handed, so I hate the coils. So I ended up in a lot of my rounds just writing upside down, so the little spiral would not be on my side. But round one was David Roseman, and this is the time where having Adamant Dragapult actually really hurt me in this scenario. Because before, how I was handling this is that I would U-turn into the Kilowattrel. I would Terra Ghost to deal with Mamoswine's Ice Shard a little better. I would U-turn into the Kilowattrel, being slightly faster than it, bring in Rillaboom, proc the Grassy Seed, and then knock it out with like Dire Claw. And if it didn't knock out, then I had like RNG mechanics as well. And then the next turn I could just swing into Mamoswine with something like close combat, fake out, or if I knew they were going to protect, I could just target into the Kilowattrel or whatever switched in. Because most of the time with this team, like whatever switches in, besides like Wheezing, it's not really that big of a deal. Like if Mamoswine switches, like stays in, then it's hurting one of the other partners. And so game one, they went Wheezing Slacking, and this is where my inexperience with acrobatics comes in. For some reason, I tunnel visioned and clicked acrobatics, Terraflying acrobatics into the Wheezing, knowing that Slacking was probably going to high horsepower it. And I feel like it ended up just body slamming and one-shotting it anyway. Or Wheezing got a burn, something like that. But in the back, they brought Kilowattrel and Mamoswine. So when Dragapult came out, it lived the Ice Shard without Terra, I believe. But I think that was a roll. Game two, they led the same. And I was able to just swing through it with what did I bring? Sneasler Rillaboom. I led Sneasler Rillaboom and just kind of targeted into the Kilowattrel, and I was able to just take it down from there, and that worked out pretty well for me. Game 3, I thought that they were going to bring the Dondozo, so I brought Milotic, and they actually just led with Mamoswine, Kilowattrel, and Terra Ghost, I believe, on Mamoswine. Yeah. And so I couldn't fake it out. And Grassy Glide wasn't doing much. Close Combat didn't swing into it because of the Terra Ghost, and they were able just to like play better. Uh, and then bringing the Milotic into a matchup against Kilowattrel, that was a bummer. That was a bummer. But that was a loss. I took it to game 3 at least. Round 2 was interesting with Golden Goat, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Rillaboom, Flamigo, and Lapras. The Flamigo is tricky for my team because it has Scrappy, so it can... I think its last move was Tailwind. It never clicked it. I can go check the Poke data, but I don't... Let's find out. It was Tailwind, yes. Brave Bird, Close Combat, Tailwind, Detect. I never saw the Hydreigon. Every single time they went... Game 1, they went Incin, Golden Go, Amoonguss, Lapras, and Flamigo. Game 1, I led I believe King Gambit and Milotic. No, that was another game. Right? Yes. That was another game, but I led King Gambit, and so with King Gambit, I was able to leverage the Terra Flying and do a lot of damage into the Golden Go, into... I feel like the Incin Terra'd to Terra Ghost. But I didn't bring the Milotic because of the Lapras being water absorb. I didn't want it to switch into an obvious Scald and lose out that way. And from there, I was able to just focus on the Golden Go, which is like the real damage dealer. Once Sneasler and Rillaboom came in, I lost Rillaboom to the Brave Bird, but the Brave Bird also knocked itself out. So that allowed King Gambit to come back in and kick butt here. Oh, no. I remember this. This was a 3-game. They ended up squeaking it out game 2. But every single time, they literally just led Amoonguss, Golden Go. Right? So I just kind of said, you know what? I'm Safety Goggles King Gambit. I'm swinging Kowtow every single time into the Golden Go. And that was pretty much it. They switched in Flamigo when they realized that after they like tried to set it up with Nasty Plot, and I did so much damage to it off the Kowtow. They brought in Flamigo, and I was able just to use the Terra Flying and then protect and knock it out that way. And then they brought Incin as well. Game 2, they did the same thing, but instead of bringing Incin, they brought the Lapras because the Incin came in and procced King Gambit way too many times. The Lapras was able to just squeeze it by with the amount of damage they were doing. So it worked out for them. In Game 3, they kind of did the same thing that they were doing every single time. Golden Go and Amoonguss, and just clicking Rage Powder Nasty Plot turn 1. And I just kept clicking Kowtow. It didn't bother me in the slightest. They brought from Flamigo, but once again, I sacked the Rillaboom just to be able to knock it out with the Brave Bird recoil, and then Sneasler and King Gambit was able just to like clean up. A +2 Sucker Punch did like 60% to Lapras. I'm pretty sure it was a Citrus Berry though. Yes, it was a Citrus Berry. So like it did 60%, but then it ended up healing most of it back. But like that just means that I took it out in 2 Sucker Punches. Games 3 and 4 were very similar, and I was actually very thankful for this. I had one matchup that I was really good with, and I had one matchup that I was really bad with. And thankfully, the matchup that I felt really good with the lines was this Marco Sun team. The matchup that I felt really bad about was Archaloot on Rain, because you have to make a lot of 50-50s with the Basca Legion, switching in and out or just doing direct damage. And then my team is very physical, so if I don't knock Archaludon out quick enough, it becomes quite a problem quite quickly. But these teams were pretty much the same. The one thing I do remember, though, is that I think it was Aiden's Charizard was Life Orb Air Slash with Protect. I don't know exactly if it was Terra Ghost. I can, once again, I can look it up. Yeah. It was Terra Ghost, Life Orb, Solar Power, Heat Wave, Overheat, Air Slash, and Protect. And I don't get the Life Orb because then you're double dipping damage. And I mean, Charizard takes 1/8 and 1/10. So every turn, you're losing a lot of health. But it really didn't matter because I feel like both times. No, Aiden brought Charizard one time. Both people I 2-0'd them, and that's because I know my lines very well. Both times, with Marcus, he brought the Trick Room mode with P2, and from there I just lead Milotic and Magmar, and I taunt, and I then just click the moves that I need to click, and thankfully game one he led Instant, so it automatically put Milotic at +2. So from there I was able just to keep clicking Scald and doing damage into it. Game 2 came down really close, but with Milotic, I was able to get a double protect with Trick Room being up, because game 2, they led Jump Pluff and P2. So Jump Pluff had Rage Powder on this, so I taunted the Rage Powder, and P2 got Trick Room up. Turn 2, they switched in Torkoal, and to be cheeky, I clicked Icy Wind, just so the Torkoal had to immediately switch out, and it forced them to like just make choices. But they ended up getting Ursaluna in, so I was able to Terra Ghost and follow me to help dodge it a little. Especially they didn't Terra the P2 at all. Both of them, both P2s in this set being Terra fighting. They never Terra the P2. And I think they ended up tearing the Ursaluna. And I honestly forget what I brought after Milotic and Magmar. I want to say it was Sneasler Rillaboom, just for the fake out support. But I was able to put myself in a situation game 2 where Ursaluna went down to like burn recoil, because I chipped it down so much. I got the double protect on Milotic, and I was able to, between the leftovers and what was left of the grassy terrain, I was able to stall out the sun with Torkoal with no Trick Room, and I did pretty well with that. Aiden was pretty much the same thing. They did the same thing, but they led Torkoal. So turn 1, I just clicked Icy Wind and taunt. I didn't have to Terra Ghost yet until they brought in Ursaluna and Jump Pluff in the back, and I was able to win that game basically the same way with speed control with Icy Wind, and then taunt and follow me with Magmar went in pretty well. They did also Terra Ghost their Ursaluna in the first matchup. The second matchup was a little tougher. They went Puff and Ursaluna and tried to get the Trick Room automatically. They went Tailwind EQ, and I called it out and went Terra Ghost. And the great thing about that is that with this team, if they lead Jump Pluff, I kind of, if I don't want Milotic to fall asleep, if I'm trying to call the Sleep Powder, I protect Milotic turn 1 and then just click Overheat. Because if you're clicking if you're clicking Sleep Powder, you're not getting Tailwind up. If you're clicking Tailwind, you're not getting Sleep Powder. Either way, as long as you don't tear water, overheat one shots, and then Magmar just becomes a follow me bot after that. And even with the sun up, I remember when I Icy Wind the Torkoal switching in and let it switch back up, I clicked overheat into that slot against Marcus, and I was able to do like really good damage against the Ursaluna that just straight up switched in. So it like switched in and was already down to like 50%. So at this point in the tournament, I am 3-1, faced two of the same exact teams back to back, and I feel really good. And then it gets fun. Dylan is my next opponent. He is just straight hyper offense with Tailwind and Encore and the Terra Garchomp. Game 1, I was able to get good burns off and deal with it. Game 2 and 3 did not work the same because they let Golden go and then switched in Garchomp. And I want to say this is actually supposed to be Dragonite. Yeah, it is supposed to be Dragonite. This is Dragonite. It's like Terra Steel Dragonite. And I just wasn't able to get the damage out without getting burns on either Dragonite or Garchomp. In Game 3, I got a burn on Garchomp, but Dragonite was still able to clutch it out with the scale shots. And that was a real bummer. But it's just, like I said, it's a very hyper offensive team. They just clicked Tailwind and had the speed. My only speed control is Icy Wind. So Garchomp, unintimidated and unburned with the Clear Amulet, you can't intimidate it. Milotic was still taking like 50% from Dragon Claws. So this is the one matchup that it might have been a little better to actually have Primarina, but then I have to well, are you leading Golden Go? Which wasn't too bad because I was able just to like protect and then use Overheat to knock out the Golden Go, and then the next turn I just had to switch out the Milotic, and so it just put me in the on the back foot. Next up was Nezzy. You might know Nezzy from Twitter. You might know Nezzy from his YouTube channel. He whooped me. He whooped me and he felt bad about it. He has a pretty cool team with Choice Specs Ninetales. I believe it was Terra Water. I don't feel like double checking anymore, but I believe it was Terra Water. And so turn 1 of game 1, he leads Lowland Ninetales and King Gambit. I decide, hey, I want to burn the King Gambit, and I want to be able to pivot and put this Alolan Ninetales on the back foot. So I hard switch Sneasler. He clicks Blizzard. Sneasler gets frozen. Sneasler is frozen the next turn and it gets knocked out. Best of all, I went to go burn the King Gambit with Will-O-Wisp, and on turn 1 he switched in Volcarona. So my turn did absolutely nothing for me, and it ended up with one of my Pokemon being frozen, and it did nothing. It did nothing. From there, I tried to play it out. I brought in Dragapult, Terra Ghost, and got frozen. Took 50% from the Blizzard and got frozen. And from that point, he just switches in King Gambit, and it is a wrap from there. Game 2, I was like so thrown off. I went with the Sneasler Rillaboom, and they went Sneasler Dragonite, and they were able to, I believe it was like coaching and like scale shot, like protect and stuff. It was bad. And then they led King Gambit Ninetales in the back. I wish, like, in hindsight, if I would have just clicked Terra Ghost and Follow Me and just started blasting things, I would have been in a whole lot better position, because then I would have had a lot more tools to take care of King Gambit, but you know, I made what I thought was the best call, and I got punished for it. And uh, Nezzy ended up going like 7-5, I think, being like at least top 120, 128. He did really good. So at least I can say that like the one person that absolutely dog walked me was pretty good in the tournament. The next one, round 7, was Kevin. Kevin was unfortunate round 1. He went Blood Moon, Ensign, and I went Milotic, King Gambit. But Ensign had the Mirror Herb, which is not its usual item. But did you know that when there's a stat change that procs Mirror Herb, it will take all of them. So when Ensign intimidated me, it activated competitive. I got +2 in special attack on Milotic, and I got +2 attack on King Gambit. Mirror Herb copied both of them, which I did not know it did that. I thought it would just take the first one, like activate right after competitive did. So I was like, oh, that's not going to be too bad. Anyways, I double protect turn 1. Turn 2, I Scald and just one-shot it. And I Terra Flying, and they tried to Earth Power into the King Gambit, so that failed. And from there, I was just able to start clicking Icy Wind and in Kowtow Cleave or Sucker Punch and do really well. It was Specs Golden Go, so when Golden Go came out in the back, I was just like, oh, this is now a 4v1. So I won game 1. I found out that Milotic was faster than both Ensign and Ursaluna. So once the Icy Wind went off, like King Gambit was actually faster than them too. The next game, they went Archaludon, but this Archaludon was the Sturdy set, I believe. And the Sturdy set is so much easier to deal with because it's not getting defensive boost all the time. So I really wasn't worried about that, but they still also led Ensign again. I ended up clicking Terra Grass, I believe. Ensign that game went Terra Ghost, and after Icy Wind damage, I was still able to, I crit it and still like basically one-shotted it from like 95%. So at this point, I'm 4-3. I'm still in the chance for points. I'm down, but I'm not out. And round 8, I go up against Eric here with Esperatha, Archaludon, once again a Power Herb, Indeedee, Sneasler, Hydreigon, and Mirror Herb, Hisuian Arcanine. This is a lot scarier, and I believe it was Terra Water. This is a lot scarier than the Ensign. So that's how that went. I actually didn't see... I don't think I saw Arcanine at all until after King Gambit went down anyway. Well, no. I didn't bring King Gambit. Like the Sneasler being Terra Dark with Throat Chop and having close combat, the Esperatha having Dazzling Gleam, and the Hisuian Arcanine having Mirror Herb, I just didn't want to bring the King Gambit. So turn 1 of game 1, they led Esperatha and Archaludon, and I led, I think it was Rillaboom, because I had Fake Out Pressure. Rillaboom and Dragapult. So I ended up switching into Sneasler and going Phantom Force into the Esperatha because I knew it was going to protect turn 1 because it's a speed boost Esperatha. They always protect turn 1. And so I went to try to like hit it on the backside, and they ended up not switching into Indeedee because they didn't know who I was switching into. And so that actually worked out really well for me, where I one shot the Esperatha, but from there, between the damage that Archaludon did and Sneasler with Indeedee's redirection, it fell apart from there. The next time it was Archaludon, they just went straight Terra Electric and started blasting things with next to Arcanine with the Intimidate, and I wasn't able to keep up from there with Indeedee Sneasler in the back, and I ended up 4-4. I'm disappointed. I wish I would have done better, but I felt stronger throughout the tournament than I did in previous tournaments, like Baltimore, for example, where I was 3-4 at Baltimore and then like rallied back up to 4-4. But at the same time, like, I do realize the mistakes that I made with not doing enough of my homework and not doing enough testing with the acrobatics Sneasler, not knowing the calcs as well and the damage in with acrobatics as well as I should have. I feel like that did hurt me. I feel like there were a lot of matches where I clicked acrobatics and I could have just dealt with the Dire Claw RNG instead, and probably fared a little bit better, in all honesty. But I was proud of my play. I do think I played most of these matches well. I went out there and I tried my best. I don't really feel like bad about any of the matches that I played. I feel like the last one against Eric, I could have played a little better, but at that point, like, I was just tired and a little bit pessimistic about it. Nezzy was the only one. Like, Nezzy just he whooped me. Him and David at round 1, just, these were the only two like ones that I really felt like I lost, like straight up just lost. But Nezzy, like, he froze 2 of my mom's game 1, and he's like, at the end of the set, he's like, "Hey man, sorry." He's like, that stinks. And I was just like, man, I'm running Dire Claw Sneasler. I know how it goes. Like, I'm just usually on the other side. So I understood. And I was like, I was happy that Nezzy did well. And that's the thing that, like, I enjoy about these mons. Like, I'm playing against these people, but there's still people that I see on Twitter. I don't like always talk to everyone. I'm not a super social person like that. But like, I can definitely cheer for other people's success. Buddy Andy, who this is the first time I've seen him since Baltimore. He's in the friend group, but like, I've only seen them at tournaments. He day 2'd, went 7-3. My buddy Tyler got points, going 5-3. Me and 2 of the other guys, we all ended up 4-4. I was actually the highest out of us due to resistance, and you know, a lot of my opponents were decent. Like, my lowest opponent was 3-5, and I know that I know my friends, Bo went with us as well. He was in our group. He was doing really well and tell a nice little 3-game losing streak. And then Pablo VGC, Garrett is somewhere around here. He ran the Marco Sun team as well, but he made changes that I was like worried about facing him. He ended up going 4-4 as well. But I think he said he had 2 like 03 and 05 people that he played against like round 1 and round 2. So his resistance just was terrible. But you know, I don't feel bad. I was in the top 300 out of 740 people. And it was fun. I had fun hanging out with people. I had fun going out in Pittsburgh. It was just a fun weekend overall. I wish I would have done better, but I'm not disappointed in my play. And I did get some merch. I did get some. I did. It's a Pokemon thing. I can't get nothing there. I got my son a little Snorlax sitting cutie because he loves. And hold on, I gotta. Let's show you. All right, you can't see it anymore, but this is some of the plushies I have. I have more plushies above me. I have more plushies over here. I have too many plushies for being a grown adult, but it makes me happy. Up here, I have this Gigantamax Snorlax plush. I love it. I think it's so silly. I used Gigantamax Snorlax for a little in the beginning of Sword and Shield. And so I asked him before I left for Pittsburgh, and I was like, what plushie do you want? He goes, I want a big Snorlax with a tree on his belly like you. He's like, I want the same one as you. And I'm like, bro, this plushie is older than you. And it was like $60 back then. It definitely hasn't gotten any cheaper. They didn't have it, and I wasn't going to pay whatever price someone who was carrying this still would charge for it. So I got him a sitting cutie one, and he loves it. I think it's in bed with him right now. Number one thing. For myself, I got the Mega T-Tar plushie because I love Tyranitar. If you have not noticed by now, I love Tyranitar, so when I saw this, I had to get it. I thought I was paying the same price as the Pokemon Center, but I was wrong, so I probably should have just ordered it from the Pokemon Center. So that's my one tip for buying plushies at regionals or anywhere, honestly, is check to see if it's in stock at the Pokemon Center, because it's probably cheaper. But yeah, you live and you learn. I really wanted this. I couldn't say no to it. Look at it. It's huge. Thankfully, he didn't see me bring it in, and I was like worried that he was going to be mad that I got a big plush and he got a little plush. But my wife was just like, honestly, just sneak it in the house. If he doesn't notice you carry it in, he's not going to notice it's new because you have so many Tyranitar plushies. And she was right. That's exactly what we did and was fine. But like, look at this guy. I did also get some of the regional merch. I got the hoodie. I got the big Pachirisu hoodie that some people were complaining about. I just got it because Tyranitar was on it. Honestly, it's worlds like that, like when I was first getting back into playing Pokemon again in X and Y, like watching that worlds, I was just like, it's cool. I saw all the news that Pachirisu won worlds, and I was like, you can play competitive Pokemon, and that's kind of how I got into it. And I really don't mind. I do get that they use Pachirisu a lot, but it's not that big of a deal. I wish it would have been cheaper. That hoodie was like $70. What else do I have to say about the regional experience? The new stands to accommodate having multiple different versions of the Switch is so much better than the Hori docks. I actually have a Hori dock myself. I bought it like years ago. And so this won't work on the Switch 2. It doesn't give the proper like power input. So what they did is they got these like a bunch of these little like the stands that you would buy from like the dollar store or something for like an iPad, and you just put your Switch on it, and then there's a USB hub with an Ethernet port and a charger plugged into it, and it worked just fine. I will say I was super worried about the battery life of the Switch 2 because when I went to a local, by round 2 we were down to like 25%. It was to a point where like at the local, the judge, the organizer actually had to go to the dollar store down the road between the cup and the challenge to buy like a multi-tap so more people could plug their Switch 2s in because they were all dying that fast. I did end up buying an Anchor battery pack. This is probably the cheapest battery pack right now that is enough to charge the Switch twice and also give it the proper charging input. I have older battery packs that are still good, but they charge very slowly, and that over time can actually damage batteries if it's not the proper like voltage output. So I didn't use it. I didn't want to use those batteries, so I finally upgraded. So if you're interested in this battery, it was about like 50 bucks. I'll have an Amazon affiliate link in the description down below. Uh, Portable batteries are super expensive now. Like this is model is like a little old, so it was cheaper. But like some of their batteries of like the same size, like of their newest models, are like $80 to $100, which is crazy to me because I used to buy like ones this big for like 60 brand new. Like, and now they're twice the price. But it's been a while since I bought one, so but this one works just fine. 50 bucks. This is the one I would recommend because it's cheap, it gets the job done. It has a built-in cable, so you can just kind of plug your switch in, and then it has a port so you can charge other things as well. You can only charge two things at a time with it through USB Type-C, but what more do you need to charge at the same time? I don't know. But anyways, that is the Pittsburgh recap. I probably won't do another regional for a while. I usually only do like once a year. So I gotta get ready for the next global challenge because it seems that's my only hope for points. But I plan on doing more locals now that I'm done with schoolwork. And just having fun with it. I might stream this week, hopefully. I don't know if I'm going to stream Pokemon. I feel like I need a little bit of a break from it because I've kind of just sat on Showdown for the past like 3-4 weeks, just grinding out stuff, and I feel like I need a palate cleanse, you know? But ZA's out in a month. Champions should be out in the next couple of months. I'm not interested in Reg J with the mythicals, so I don't know. Eventually, I'm going to plan some more Reg A++ tournaments as well, so hopefully you stick around for that. Hopefully you made it this far. It's been almost an hour that I've been talking. If you enjoy this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I just realized that my son put my PC in airplane mode. 4-year-olds, man. 4-year-olds. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're interested in that battery, check out the link in the description. But until next time, I'm Zach, and we'll see everyone later.